Welcome to our YouTube channel, Apex Trackers. Sit back, relax, and grab some popcorn. We're here to talk about wolves, coyotes, and hybrids. Don't forget to also follow us on Facebook groups Big Cats Urban Ontario. And if you're not into cats so much, no sweat. If you're more of a dog person, and if you love canines, buckle up. Because the first canine we're going to talk about is the top dog, the boss of all, the apex of Ontario's canine underworld. Come with me as we learn how these amazing, elusive animals reign supreme in the wild wherever they travel. Meet another one of Ontario's apex predators, known as the eastern wolf. Let's learn some cool, interesting facts about Ontario's eastern wolf, also known as the gray wolf. Scientifically called Canis lycaon or Canis lupus lycaon, also known as the timber wolf or the Algonquin wolf. The eastern timber wolf is a canine of debated taxonomy, native to the Great Lakes region and southeastern Canada. It's one of the biggest of the wolf species. It is considered either a unique subspecies of gray wolf or red wolf, or a separate species from both. Many studies have found the eastern wolf to be the product of ancient and recent genetic admixture between the gray wolf and the coyote, while other studies have found some or all populations of the eastern wolf, as well as coyotes, originally separated from a common ancestor with the wolf over 1 million years ago. And these populations of the eastern wolf may be the same species as, or a closely related species to, the red wolf, scientifically known as Canis lupus rufus or Canis rufus of the southeastern United States. Regardless of its status, it is regarded as unique and therefore worthy of conservation. Canada cites the population in eastern Canada, also known as the Algonquin wolf, as being the eastern wolf population subject to protection. There are two forms, or subspecies, of the timber wolf. The larger is referred to as the Great Lakes boreal wolf, generally found in Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, southeastern Manitoba, and northern Ontario. And the smaller being the Algonquin wolf, which inhabits eastern Canada, specifically central and eastern Ontario and southwestern Quebec, with some overlapping and mixing of the two types in the southern portions of northeastern and northwestern Ontario. The eastern wolf's morphology is midway between that of the gray wolf and the coyote. The fur is typically of a grizzled grayish-brown color mixed with cinnamon. The nape, shoulder, and tail region are a mix of black and gray, with the flanks and chest being rufous or creamy. It primarily preys on white-tailed deer, but may occasionally hunt moose in packs. In the third edition of Mammal Species of the World, published in 2005, the mammalogist W. Christopher Wozencraft listed the eastern wolf as a gray wolf subspecies. This supports its earlier classification based on morphology in 3 studies. This taxonomic classification has since been debated. Proposals based on DNA analysis include a gray wolf ecotype, a gray wolf with genetic introgression from the coyote, a gray maybe a mixed wolf-coyote hybrid, a gray wolf-red wolf hybrid, the same species as the red wolf, or a separate species closely related to the red wolf. Commencing in 2016, 2 studies using whole genome sequencing indicate that North American gray wolves and wolf-like canids were the result of ancient and complex gray wolf and coyote mixing, with the Great Lakes wolf possessing 25% coyote ancestry, and the Algonquin wolf possessing 40% coyote ancestry. In the U.S., gray wolves, including the timber wolf, are protected under the Endangered Species Act of 1973. Although the protections were removed at the federal level in 2021, they were reinstated in 2022. In Canada, the eastern wolf is listed as Canis lupus lycaon under the Species at Risk Act 2002, Schedule 1, List of Wildlife at Risk. In 2015, the Committee on the Status of Endangered Wildlife in Canada recognized the eastern wolf in central and eastern Ontario and southwestern Quebec as Canis lycaon, a species believed to be lycaon and a threatened species worthy of conservation. The main threat to this wolf is human hunting and trapping outside of the protected areas. This leads to genetic introgression with the eastern coyote due to a lack of mates. Further human development immediately outside of the protected areas and the negative public perception of wolves are expected to inhibit any further expansion of their range. In 2016, the Committee on the Status of Species at Risk in Ontario recognized the Algonquin wolf as a Canis spe, differentiated from the hybrid Great Lakes wolves, which it found were the result of hybridization and backcrossing among the eastern wolf. Although some people will actually debate with you if coy wolves even exist, with some saying one is a wolf and one is a coyote, there's no mix. But science seems to prove otherwise. So maybe the coy wolf is not a species. It's just an outdated term, largely used by the media when referring to eastern coyotes, and then it was over-sensationalized and popularized with the 2013 documentary called Meet the Coy Wolf. Both the eastern wolf and eastern coyote share genetics. The eastern coyote is the result of coyotes breeding with eastern wolves in the early 1900s in the Great Lakes and Algonquin regions of Ontario, when coyotes expanded their range east. To add about the hysteria around coy wolves, there really is no real consistency in their physiology to designate them as a species. I personally live among eastern coyotes, and I've had reports of black coyotes that were very, very big, while I've seen coyotes that were more in line with western coyotes, with every imaginable coat color and size combination, really. But technically, all canine animals have gray wolf genetics in their blood. Even your domestic house dog. All modern dogs are a subspecies of the gray wolf and share a common ancestor. Dogs were domesticated from gray wolves between 15,000 to 30,000 years ago. Here are some interesting key facts. Did you know dogs and gray wolves share a significant amount of DNA, reflecting their recent common ancestry? Let's dive into their genetic diversity. Despite their shared genetics, dogs have undergone significant genetic changes through selective breeding, resulting in the incredible diversity of breeds we see today. Some dog breeds retain wolf-like characteristics, while others have been bred for specific traits that differ from their wild ancestors. Dogs and wolves exhibit similar behaviors, such as pack dynamics and communication styles. Domestic dogs can inherit health issues from their wolf ancestors. Understanding their genetic relationship can inform healthcare and breeding practices. The relationship between dogs and gray wolves is a fascinating area of study. It sheds light on both the history of dog domestication and the genetic underpinnings of their behaviors and traits. To me, with the information I have gathered, the hybrid and everything going on up in Canada, Ontario is an intriguing and interesting subject for people. This is only a subspecies that lives and thrives in Algonquin. I mean, I'm sure other coy wolves exist in the world, but I don't know of anywhere else where there is a breeding population that's established and confirmed by the government. I've heard of the coy dog, and I have heard local folklore that in a hamlet outside of Hamilton, Ontario called Smithville, individuals are trapping wild coyotes and crossbreeding them with German shepherds, trying to create their own hybrid coy dog. How true this is, I can't say. I do know wolves are a very majestic and spiritual animal. Wolves never used to be a threat to humans. It is said that indigenous people used to live with them and use them, and that they were like allies. In Algonquin folklore, the wolf is prominently portrayed in Algonquin mythology, where it is referred to as Mahaigan or Na-Puti in the Algonquian languages. It is the spirit brother of the Algonquian folk hero Nanabojo and assisted him in several of his adventures, including thwarting the plots of the malicious Anamakwi spirits and assisting him in recreating the world after a worldwide flood. Since the discovery in 1963 that eastern wolves answered human imitations of their howls, Algonquin Provincial Park began its public wolf howls attraction. As many as 2,500 visitors are led on expeditions into areas where eastern wolves were sighted the night before and listen to them answering the park staff's imitation howls. By 2000, 85 public wolf howls had been held, with over 110,000 people having participated. The park considers the attraction as the cornerstone of its wolf education program. It credits it with changing public attitudes towards wolves in Ontario. In the wild forests of Canada, the timber wolf reigns as one of nature's most intelligent hunters. Wolves are rarely alone. They are family animals, living and hunting together in tightly bonded packs. A typical pack in Ontario ranges in size from 5 to 11 members, though in areas rich with prey, packs can grow much larger. Each pack is led by a breeding pair, often referred to as the alpha male and female. Their pups, yearlings, and older offspring make up the rest of the family group. When wolves hunt, it is not brute strength alone that brings down their prey, but cooperation. Together, they test the herd, searching for weakness, the old, the sick, the injured. Their chases are strategic, built on endurance and communication. Though most hunts fail, their teamwork ensures the survival of the pack. In Ontario, wolves roam across vast landscapes from the dense boreal forests of the north to the rugged wilds of Algonquin Park. Their territories can span from 200 to over 1,000 square kilometers in distance, depending on the abundance of prey. In deer-rich areas, a territory may be small and tightly defended, but farther north, where moose and caribou are spread thin across the land, wolves must travel great distances to survive. Yet not all wolves live within the safety of the pack. Some strike out alone. These lone wolves, often young adults, leave their birth pack in search of new territory and perhaps a mate. To survive, they rely on stealth and cunning, hunting smaller prey because they are alone, such as beavers or snowshoe hares. Some will wander hundreds, even thousands of kilometers, guided by instinct and opportunity. Many will perish. But a fortunate few succeed in finding a partner, claiming new ground, and in time, building a pack of their own. In the story of the wolf, both the pack and the lone wanderer play a vital role. Together, they shape the balance of Canada's wilderness, maintaining a lineage that has endured for thousands of years. Let's talk about attacks on humans. In Ontario and across Canada, healthy wild wolves rarely pose any danger to humans. Attacks are extraordinarily rare, far less likely than encounters with bears or even moose. Wolves are naturally wary of people. In most cases, they slip away long before we even know they are there. To the wolf, humans are not prey. We are something to be avoided. Conflicts arise only in unusual circumstances, like when wolves become sick, desperate, or dangerously accustomed to humans through feeding or garbage. Even then, these incidents are isolated and quickly addressed by wildlife managers. For those who hike the trails of Algonquin Park or wander the boreal forests of the north, the presence of wolves should not be a cause for fear, but a source of wonder. To hear a pack howling under a northern sky is to experience a sound as old as the Ice Age, a living connection to the wild heart of Canada. The wolf is not an enemy to fear, but a neighbor in the wilderness that is cautious, intelligent, and essential to the land we share. In many cultures and spiritual traditions, wolves are known for their symbolism and significance. In some cultures, wolves are seen as protectors and guardians. Encountering a wolf may represent spiritual guidance, wisdom, and insight. Spotting a wolf may be a calling to explore your spiritual path or seek guidance from within. So if you're ever in Ontario visiting or exploring and happen to spot a wild eastern wolf, take it as a blessing or a spiritual sign. So guys, if you have found this new information to be informative and interesting, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe so you can stay updated on new video drops on this channel. Well, I'm off to go fishing. As always, thanks for watching and take care.